video time.
I'm telling you, man. Fucking,
Symbiogenesis, yeah?
I can't even, man. I'm actually just sitting here in a pit of despair. To think that the Symbiogenesis project, I don't even know why people thought it was going to be a Parasite Eve revival. I don't know if that word has some sort of meaning, some sort of symbolism. But I know for goddamn sure there was a lot of people hoping for it.
Yeah, I saw a few people.
But no. Today, Square Enix have announced Symbiogenesis is the first digital collectible art project designed from the ground up for Web3 fans. Good old Web3 fans.
Who's Web3?
Love those guys. Such a big chunk of the fan base.
I don't even know who they are.
The company revealed its plans at Web3 Conclave, an event held inside the India Game Developers Conference, bringing together delegates from around the world. You can just tell from the language, Square really think this is some big swinging dick moves that they are making. And they said it. They said it. This is when everyone was coming at me and saying, you've grossly misinterpreted the financial reports. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was like, yeah, they ain't fucking good. They've literally said in this report, this is the shit that is their most important stuff. Aggressively tackling. Symbiogenesis is a brand new, well, yeah, let's see what it's about. I haven't even fully read it. It's a brand new entertainment content set in a self-contained world where a wide cast of characters, symbiosis, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
All of which can be collected as digital art, an interactive story, and a dedicated community. The art can be used for social media profile pictures, and as a character in a story that takes place in an alternate world where the player can untangle a mystery by completing missions that revolve around the questions of the monopolization and distribution of resources. So that's the premise of the story. The characters go around untangling the mystery around questions of monopolizing and distributing resources. And what are these characters promoting? What's the story? What's the theme? What's the philosophy? What's the lesson to be learned here? Are the characters going to be teaching us that monopolizing is a good thing?
Maybe.
That acquiring resources and assets and material wealth at all costs, no matter what the implications to the planet, no matter how deplorable and seedy and cynical it is that the lesson these characters are going to be teaching us? Consider how far removed from what made Square Enix the giant that they are. It was Cloud, it was Barry, it was Tifa, it was Seven.
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting traction before that point.
Yeah.
But no, Seven was what catapulted them. And to think that now here we are, 25 years nearly, quarter of a century later, and the new characters in the new games are here to promote monopolizing resources. Anti-Avalanche. Anti-Cloud. I mean, well, Cloud never really gave shit anyway. But anti-Avalanche. Man. Anyway, with each strategic move players make, more of the story unfolds. Sales of Symbiogenesis, NFT, collectible art, and a free browser service.
That bit's free.
The browser service is going to suck ass. I mean, there's not many that don't. The only one that I kind of use is Ecosia.
Oh, yeah.
I use Ecosia every now and then. It works pretty well. Sometimes I have to pop over to Google, but I largely use Ecosia. And why do I use Ecosia, Ginge?
Because it plants trees.
It plants trees. How many trees have I planted?
How many have you done?
Let's have a look. 460 trees. 460 mighty oaks, elms, Grand Vidore Gascoignes planted in my name. To think that they're going to release the exact opposite of that, a browser tethered to, and in the middle of an energy crisis.
Yeah.
The planet is literally, middle of an energy crisis. We have riots in Europe. We have security tags being placed on packs of butter in the UK. People are getting desperate. People are burning out there, man.
Yeah.
The cost of living catapulting through the ceiling. Energy crisis. And this is
NFTs are their answer.
This is what Square Enix are sort of happy to put out into the world. This is what their focus is. It could not be more antithetical to the very thing that got me in love with this company. Which, I mean, it's not like they were role models of that anyway, but you know what I mean? It was something that, you know, they were ahead of their time in talking about it. They were ahead of their time in bringing it to the forefront.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, leagues ahead. And it was warning us about this exact same shit. It's like some sort of crazy self-fulfilling prophecy. The irony of it couldn't be any more glaring. Like, the Square Enix of then literally warning of the Square Enix today.
And they make one step forward and two steps back. Like, 14's been doing well, we've got 16 that's coming out and everybody's loving the look of that, and then they have to drop this sort of stuff just to tarnish that excitement for the company.
Yep. They've flown it out now. And the project's official Twitter account has been providing global NFT art collectors information since November 2022. Right, that's today. Let me read that again. Project's official Twitter account. Well, let's go to it. Yeah, okay, yeah, there's a Twitter account that's just been made. Symbiogenesis PR. PR. Not just it's not like with the Final Fantasy 7 account with 16, it's like FF16 PR. It's just Final Fantasy 16, it stands on its own merits. The fact that they've added PR into it, I don't know, it makes it sound even more kind of revealing on how they plan to throw this out, which is, we're going to have to push this barrel. We're going to have to promote this. We're going to have to spin a tale. We're going to have to weave a narrative around this. And I could just pick that up from just like the sounding, the pretentious dialogue that's thrown in there. Talk about Web3 fans, the conclaves, delegates from around the world. Yeah, dedicated community. It makes it all sound very desirable. And yeah, here it is. Yeah, they even kind of, look at it, look how professional that looks. It's kind of like a
Fancy
like a United Nations forum. It's all very. It does. It almost just looks like a shareholder investing. Like and the very layout of it. Like they've got some. They're like kind of like little statues that look like little awards and. Whenever I see even that kind of stage, I mean, it's not like a gaming stage. Whenever I see that kind of stage, it's some bald-headed bullshitter is going to come out and talk to me about finance and shareholding and investing and profiteering, which is all another word for racketeering. That's the vibe I get. And there we go. All the comments around it, yeah, just people just posting gifs of just pushing skeletons back into their graves and saying, they're there. I mean, even the way they've sort of presented sort of this entire kind of overview of the
agenda.
Day. The agenda. The only fucking agenda you've got, Square, is to make money without actually producing of anything valuable. That's what an NFT is. That's the problem with it. It doesn't produce anything of value. And people are, will it go to that stage? I'm sorry, when you're getting proof of stake and proof of ownership of things that they're nothing burgers. They're simply nothing burgers. Oh, so you can use it as your profile picture on an avatar. It's nothing burgers. It's the same with the figurines. You had a piece of paper to say you physically own something. Yes, I know I physically own it. I've got it in my hand. You know what proved it? You had the little proper trademark stamps, the holographic like label you had on the figurines. Now it was very easy to tell when one was fake and one was real. And yeah, sure, you get like Chinese rip-offs of figurines. That was pretty common. But this doesn't even solve that. Why? Because you can't even transfer the ownership of the NFT to the new owner.
Doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Do you think they're going to try to tie these action figures into the actual new Symbiogenesis itself to make more money?
I don't know, and it's the fact is, and I was arguing just the other day when I released that little Square Enix rant, and they were coming out and saying, no, I disagree. All those games that you kind of just slated, I think that's what Square Enix should do more of. More. Specifically what? They were talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. They were talking about the Marvel Avengers. They were talking about Babylon's Fall. I think they were pretty much everything that I said I had disliked, even some of the Forspoken aesthetics. They were massively pro, saying they should do more of it. The very styles and aesthetics that they're not Square Enix. They're not Square Enix. They didn't create Star-Lord. They didn't create the Avengers. Now, I don't want to shit on those games because, I mean, you've played it.
I thought Guardians was good. Yeah.
Most people like it. And if you do like Avengers, good for you. I haven't played them. I can't say. The point is, Square didn't make them. Anyone could have produced those. Any Western developer.
Yeah.
It didn't have any of the art, it didn't have any of the culture, it didn't have any of the narratives, they didn't create any of that stuff. Square Enix, they were just...
Bit of a means to an end.
They just facilitate.
Yeah.
They facilitate those games. And someone would come and say to me, oh yeah, you should know by now, how long have you been a Final Fantasy fan? You should know why people don't play Final Fantasy games. I mean, for a start, there's a fallacy in that statement. People don't play Final Fantasy games? Are you kidding me? 10 million sales! 8 million, 9 million. I mean, the whole franchise, I think it was what, 173 million people don't play Final Fantasy. There's not a person I speak to who doesn't know Final Fantasy. Now, granted, yes, if we're talking about the whole gaming community as a collective, is Final Fantasy broaching on the likes of FIFAs and Call of Duties? And of course not. Of course not. It's not getting up to esports levels. Things like League and WoW. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. Square Enix has always stood on the value of being something refreshingly different, of being a break from that in a gaming industry that is awash with samey nothing burgers. And that's the problem. That's what gamers are getting burned out for. I remember watching the Jim Sterling video. He covered it fantastically, the Ubisoftification of Western games. Which isn't just that everything looks the same, it's that you literally have the same pacing throughout the entire game, the same models, the same world design, the same structure, the same kind of bland, watery stories, which at one point were exciting, but you can almost anticipate. It's like, oh yeah, here comes the twist, yeah, here comes the dark scene, here comes the hack bit, here comes the high-speed chase, where we get chased by a bunch of freaking goons. And you can just preempt it, from start to freaking finish. Square Enix is that refreshingly different. Piss me off, man. Piss me off. And what really pissed me off is they're like, no, you know why people don't play Final Fantasy? Yeah, it's because of their stupid anime characters and hair. They're like dull-faced complexion with their stupid hairstyle. Fuck you! Fuck you! I love that stuff. I love that aesthetic, and so do so many other people.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why people fall in love with the franchise.
Now, do I agree that there is a clever little tactic here? Especially if Square Enix can't survive in Japan, which we discussed in another vid, where they can cater things a little bit to make it a bit more palatable to Westerners, to sort of sneak them in through the door. I mean, this is kind of what the guy was saying. I was like, no, I agree with you there. Square Enix have been doing that since the 90s. You sneak them in with good marketing and a focused marketing. I mean, we haven't had proper focused marketing in the West for an age. That's why 7 did so freaking well. You know why it's the 4th most expensive game? It wasn't just because, the game was freaking expensive made because of its size and its scale, but because of how hard they went. Because of how much they put their money where their mouth is, because they knew they had something good. They knew they had something valuable. And they lost that along the way. But they marketed it, and yet it had slight little things that could kind of be palatable to Westerners. And you get them in, and then you convert them, and then they go on to play other stuff, and before you know it, they're a full-blown weeb. A noodle slurping, high school DxD watching. spurging out full-blown trope, part of the culture. And that's only happening more and more anyway. Like, it's not even just Square Enix that are doing it. It's becoming massively adopted. And yeah, the fact that one of the pillars of that is that artwork. So Square Enix are beautiful out. Beautiful. I love the look. It's, you know it from a split second. When we were sat watching, what was it?
The state of play, wasn't it?
No,
The state of play, yeah.
We just signed in for a state of play.
Yeah.
And the very split second, you saw the glow of that campfire in Clive's eyes. We went,
Ooh.
oh, it's recognisable.
Yeah.
You just instantly get that feeling.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love that. And to think that that's now the very thing that they're going to shill out in the most morally corrupt way possible. Don't be deceived, guys. The NFTs that they're releasing, though they are pegged to certain crypto and blockchain technologies like Engine, which I think is also tied in with Polkadot. I'm conservative on energy. They are better. They are better.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change. That doesn't change that they're wholly unnecessary, that they are ethical, cynical, that they are another version of vapid cash grabbing, and that now, like I posted out on Twitter, when we see trademarks and moves being made by Square, you know, back in the day, the thing that I would have to bite my tongue on, I would be excited for a Square Enix thing coming out, is this just going to be some sort of like derpy mobile game? Is there going to be some derpy gacha mobile game? You know, and that was back in the day.
It seems like nothing now.
It would just be the mobile game.
Yeah.
Some people like the mobiles, fair play.
Yeah.
I never used to get that pissed. But then it became, is it going to be a mobile game that is absolutely criminal? Is it going to be a new empire? Is it going to be something that is utilizing a gambling formula, a very well-renowned one, you know, Square Enix shilling out that IP, the entire skin and face of FF15 to a guy who literally stood up on a stage and said, we don't give a shit about games. Actually mocking proper game developers. I shit you not, this guy, he stood up and he said, oh yeah, these people who actually like spend all their time and energy like making real games, yeah, they're basically chumps. This is how you do it. Right, let's show you how this works. So yeah, so it's this system here, and what you do is you just pump it, you mass advertise it. You don't have to get the advertising accurate. None of it was accurate. Nothing in those 15 new Empire trailers were hilariously stupid. Hilariously stupid. It would have like Luna and Arane, and they'd be like, which one are you, naughty or nice? What? What? It would have like different units fighting each other in the trailer that had no place fighting each other. Like, it wasn't even story time. Because they just shilled it out to a company that mocks the very thing that gaming should stand for, which is creating something that fans love, something that they enjoy, something that's bringing some value into the world and making people, for me at least, some people find fantasy might just be a pastime, but think about things, feel things, think deep, develop some kind of connection or relationship through the medium of gaming that they otherwise didn't really think about. That's what,
question your beliefs and things like that.
Yeah.
Part of the thing Tim was trying to teach you in that.
The beauty of FF. Now we're here where it's not even a microtrans stuffed mobile game that we have to be worried about. Now whenever we see Square Enix release something, we've got to wonder, oh, is it their most important focus that they're actually shilling out here? Is this thing an NFT?
Baffles the mind.
Baffles the mind, breaks the heart. Yeah, I know some people. Some people think it's overact, some people think I ain't a problem. It goddamn is, man. It goddamn is. Because it's a shadow creep. And there's a side to me that I'm like, okay, you know, I said it in the last video, oh man, Square Enix are playing ball. They're playing ball. You take it, bro. They're just playing ball.
There you go. They're going for it.
There's no need for a company that just released a fiscal quarter showing that they are up on operating income, on their return to ratios. I think the other metric was shareable profit income. All up. All up. It's just greed. It's just pure greed. And the problem is that, and I've seen a few other companies that have gone hardcore into adopting NFTs. They have punted their stock prices. And the thing is, no company in the history of ever punts their stock price once, in a quarter or a couple of quarters, and then goes, oh yeah, it doesn't matter to us if next quarter we go back to that previous level, which was our all-time high, was our all-time in the history of the company. No, we're okay to just go back to that. No. It's the fallacy that has fucked every company into the ground, has fucked every piece of creative beauty, pretty much across the entire entertainment industry, which is the fallacy of never-ending growth. Unsustainable growth. And now literally unsustainable. Like, not just unsustainable creatively, or in a sense where you're not just bombarding gamers with products and IPs that you're just totally disrespecting and mistreating and just releasing garbage. You know, that's just unsustainable from a quality aspect and from a company image and the respect that you hold from your fans and the respect that the series holds, which once you start watering that down, GG. There's a reason why Final Fantasy is still popping off, even though you fumbled it so many times. Whereas there are so many other Asian, South Korean, and Japanese and Asian aesthetic games that can't even hope to hit those kind of numbers because it's what the title has earned, its reputation. You water that down, you're done for. So it was unsustainable from that aspect, but now it's literally unsustainable because we're in a freaking energy crisis. So, woo! I had a good day today.
It was nice. We went to a sleazy Japanese bar, which was actually right.
I will round the video out with this. This was just a random little karaoke bar. It was a weird experience, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's kind of the unique ones versus, you know,
felt cool.
You just take a pub.
Felt pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Anyone who's hoping for a Parasite Eve revival,
you're not getting it. Not getting it, mate.
It wasn't even the case that something less exciting came out. It was something much worse. Just one more thing before this video rounds out, just because I have largely capitalized on being an optimistic guy with a lot of Square Enix stuff. The last thing I just got playing in my head is those mofos who are going to come at me and say, you're fueling the hate train. Just because in that last rant video, Square Enix quite clearly made their intentions clear with what their focus for shareholding and the company as a whole and the kind of games and the quality of games we were going to get. You know, besides the one already mentioned in the vid, another one was blockchain games, which again, they're going to be hollowed out, vapid, shadow of the core franchises and what they stand for kind of experiences. And Matsuda coming out saying, yeah, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, not there yet. I mean, using it in the last video, but the main point I wanted to make is, screw you, man. Me coming out and being impassioned about Square Enix's shadier moves isn't going to bring about the apocalypse. This is the internet, people. Have an impassioned view on something, having a criticism, having a bitch, having a moan, in the context of also when Square Enix do things right, I'll hype them up. I'll give them credit where credit is due. But as we saw, even with just that last rant video, how much traction, and it's just because on these things we all have impassioned feelings about, and that's generally something that people feel more called towards articulating than they do passionate things. And you guess what? The algorithm says, we like that. Do I like that when I do a rant video, it gets 3-4 times more traction? And this has always been the case from years back. You know, I could sit working for 2-3 days on a theory video that I meticulously craft. I pour tons of thought and scripting and I soundtrack it and I spend days on it and I release it and it gets and then I have an on-the-fly rant, which that just was. Just pointed at the camera and that does 2-3 times. You know.
The 15 The New Empire stuff. You know, I almost got sued by freaking Amazon for that. Flushed 10k down the drain for that bad boy. But at least we pulled it back on the views. I mean, I think they're saying like 150 to 200k. 150 to 200k. It's just the nature of the internet. You know, that's what that documentary, The Social Dilemma, pointed out, which is controversial news, negative news, even if it hasn't got a grain of truth in it, 5-6 times more traction than any other kind of content. Now, you can easily see why a lot of YouTubers slip into doing that as their entirety of their form of content. There's so many channels that go down that route. They just become ranters and ravers. I don't want that. I don't want that. So yeah. We're going to cut to, that bar we was in earlier. And also, I don't know, maybe this as well. Because, we're going to do a park. And it's feeling so much fresher and better. It was the first video you're going to see in this sweet new environment, which we're in a little town called Malacca. God, this aircon is so loud. But yeah, just get the views from here, guys. This is where we at. This is sort of central Malaysia, west coast. It's got this gorgeous oceany view. Gingy's undies. Marinading in the muggy, humid air. And yeah, Malacca is very different to Kuala Lumpur. It's a historical, kind of vibrant town. It's a bit of a... I'll speak about it in the vid, in the bar that we was in. And yeah, we're kind of really considering just going live a lot more around and chatting about upcoming cool games, reacting to trailers, and also because a lot of you guys have been asking it, cover things outside Final Fantasy, man. Like, you won't mind.
Yeah,
you won't mind.
I'd like to see more of that as well.
Yeah, and while maybe I won't do it on the FF Peasant channel, that's what Full Fantasy Peasant is there for. So, subscribe to this side if you want the Final Fantasy specific stuff. But Full Fantasy Peasant, my old channel, for any of you who don't know, it's where we put all our streams, of which God of War is next on the agenda. Streams of Paradise just went up. Oh, what an ending. What an ending. I loved it. Loved that game. Yes, it had a few... It really did exceed my expectations. And maybe I'm beginning to see when people say, keep your expectations low, and they can actually be kind of fruitful. This was one Final Fantasy I actually did that, and I was so pleasantly surprised. And I'm kind of curious to cover... I'm interested to cover things on the story of that, just because it doesn't seem like just Sakaguchi is the father of Final Fantasy. It's also freaking Jack goddamn Garland. Well, I don't want to say anything for spoilers, but the amount of recontextualizing that the ending of Streams of Paradise did to the entirety of the series, whoa, huge. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Good one square on that one.
Yeah, good one square on that one. Yeah. We'll give you credit when credit is due. But on this front, and I'm just going to say the quiet bit out loud, because I'm sure we're all thinking it, the fact that this is perhaps the only thing that Square Enix have ever, front and center revealed in India, of all places, why India? Not at all to try to perpetrate stereotypes, and India, I really want to go there, but I'm sure there's even a lot of Indian fans who will just straight up confess to this. It's the kind of place you go to with a new project when you're looking and you full well know you're doing something incredibly freaking shady. India isn't just known as the scamming central of the world for no reason, and I'm sure that there's a lot of Indians who hate that label is sort of attached, but we've got to call it as it is. You're doing it in India Square because it's the kind of place you go where it's like, oh yeah, here's some business dealings we're looking to get into, and the whole thing about sort of morals and efficacy of what we're doing. Yeah, there weren't many questions sort of asked. Not out in these wars, at least. Come on, Square. So fucking plain as day. Oh, I'm actually out now.
What have we come to?
Just heard this music and we got to experience this. And in the middle of the day, we're now very dark.
There's nobody in here.
Kind of neon lighted. Yeah, this is like where I imagine Don Corneo's boys come to hang in the evening.
feng shui, but not really. A bit of Japanese plum tea.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And yeah, I think the main gig is mostly karaoke. It's this guy. He's loving life. He's holding it. They love their karaoke. He's got to go for like a little wild card entry. Sometimes it pays off. I'm not sure if this one. I don't know, man. You try this. Yeah, that pays off.
Yeah?
Yeah, that pays dividends.
Nice.
Roaming around the streets of Malacca, which is kind of half shut down, kind of nice, but also rustic, cultural, new sections. It's just like a mixed pot. It's a blending pot of experience. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool. We need to start going live more often. Just getting little scenarios like that. Although I don't know if we get a copyright strike. I don't know how big this guy is. Who's in his haircut? Thank you so much. Happy days. Go do some karaoke, mate?
Well, now.
Yeah, right now.